Okay, recording this video on Sunday, the 3rd of September 2023, just gone 2:11 a.m. Chicago time. Do hope you are doing well. So it's the weekend and time for another weekend futures market recap, where I go through 15 of the largest futures markets and I'll show you what I'm seeing on my charts. And buckle up, the next couple of weeks is going to be big. Finally, the volatility is coming back into the market. Not that it's been all that bad over the last couple of months, but the summer's over, September's here. And we've got some big moves lining up in the charts. US dollar, Forex charts, crude, equities, all of them. So I'm going to roll through those in this video. As usual, we'll start with the Emini charts first, daily all the way down to the 15-minute and the tick bar charts. And then I'm going to show you some of the longer time frame charts, what I call the daily charts, for some big picture moves. And then we'll look at the triple signals on the tick bar charts. So let's start off with the daily chart of the Emini. We had a super nice rally this week. So there's a couple of things going on. First of all, this is the daily chart with the traditional setup of the better indicators. Two panels side by side, left-hand side, everything to do with volume, better momentum, which is a volume-based momentum indicator, beneath the price bars, and on the price bars themselves, better pro-am, which uses the average trade size to identify professional and amateur activity. On the right-hand side, better sine wave, which is the plate of spaghetti beneath the price bars, calculating the cyclical activity in 3 different time frames, which allows us to print support and resistance lines on the price bars themselves that gives us uptrends and downtrends. When price and volume are both signaling in the same direction, we have confirmed combo trends, and we've been talking about this for months and months. We are in a confirmed uptrend on price and volume. The background is printed in red. If it was in downtrend, it would be grey. So all of the time frames going down to the 15-minute chart, I think, are in an uptrend at the moment. So on the daily chart, there's 2 patterns going on. First of all, with the lowest time frame, you can see these lines are coming up to a cross at plus 100, which will be a completed pullback to end of trend cycle on the lowest time frame. And we've still got to put in that support on the intermediate time frame. So we've got 2 energies going on at the same time. We're going to complete that pullback to end of trend, and then we're going to come down and hopefully get caught by that second highest time frame when we'll put in our pullback to end of trend. But this one is playing out with the uptrend moving up, the bars painted in red. So we're going up to make that resistance on the daily chart, pullback to end of trend. Now, if we go down through the time frames, you can see this is a little bit of weakness that we had here. We punched through that pullback in an uptrend level. We got caught down here. As soon as we moved back up through there, the system turned back into an uptrend, and we're going to go test 4,600 sometime this week, I would expect. Maybe next week. It could happen quickly, could happen slowly, but we're having a look at that to complete this move for a pullback to end of trend, which is the intermediate time frame on the 135-minute chart here and the lowest time frame on the daily chart. Then we go to the 45-minute chart here. You see we had a nice pattern at the end of last week. Exhaustion sell, bullish divergence, right on the 0 line. So I say always wait for the flush patterns that'll come in. Bang, they come in nicely here and here. And we rallied this week. And we've got an exhaustion pattern here, probably getting this move going. Talk about these when we're busting out of a channel. That shows the momentum getting this move going. We've got to go see one of those to end this move, which is likely to be above 4,600, where we'll push through a bunch of stops and people will get excited and say, we are all of a sudden in an uptrend, and they'll kind of jump on board, although they're way, way late. At the moment, we're just having a little bit of weakness here because we came into a Rambo pattern where the amateurs have led this move at low average trade size up here, and we're just settling back a little bit. This is an unfirmed uptrend here, so any weakness is likely to get caught and will continue on the 45-minute chart on the way up. 15-minute chart here, you can see that's the exhaustion pattern that we got. Up here with exhaustion buy, bearish divergence. Those are all the blue professional bars coming in at the lows last week, and we've rallied from there. The vertical solid yellow lines show us the beginning and the ends of the week, and you can see last week was a bottoming pattern, exhaustion sell, bullish divergence right on the 0 line, wait for the flush pattern. We continued down, put in another exhaustion pattern down here, whole bunch of blue professional bars coming at those lows, bang, and we break through that into a confirmed uptrend. So we haven't had blue professional bars taking profits on the way up here or here or here. They were just pushing it down at that point there, weakening the market, and they're taking advantage of that. And we're putting in a pullback in an uptrend level here on the 15-minute chart. So any weakness that we get over the next day and a half will probably catch at some point. Professionals will come in and push it up because now the 4,600 level is in play. And so they're going to be pushing towards that in order to get people excited, stopped out, all that stuff. So on all of these time frames down to the 15-minute chart, you can see the background was in red. We're in a little bit of a dark area at the moment where we're getting a retrace. But that's an important turning point, this pullback support level in that area where we have a little bit of weakness. So I'm expecting that to continue on. Backgrounds in red on the 45-minute chart, backgrounds in red on the 135-minute chart and the daily chart. So we're in a confirmed uptrend here. So any weakness needs to be, until we see blue professional bars and exhaustion bars at those highs, we've not seen that yet. So we're powering on. And then you go down to the 13,500 tip bar chart here. You can see that we've put in our pullback trend on the intermediate time frame here, and we're coming down. Possible we'll have a little bit of weakness, in the next day and a half until this catches, where on the highest time frame here, where these very thick lines come together and catch this move, and then we push back up because we've not seen enough exhaustion pattern at those highs. Nice little Rambo pattern right at the highs a couple of days ago here. Weakened from there. I think that was the open Thursday into Friday's open, which was really nice. Got out of the long trade there, which was just running this move here to here, and the test of that high there, I think my number was 45.44, which was nice as just a couple of points past this previous high, an area where they done the stops, and it's a good place to take profits. And it happened to be a Rambo pattern right at those highs. I was trading at a lower time frame, but that was good for a little move there. So we've got some weakness going on at the moment on the tip bar chart, but I'd expect when these lines come together that we'll catch and we'll start to test back up into the 4,600 level there. Now, I'm pretty bullish on the equities. I have been for a while, months, and it's just been a question of trying to find this turn, this last turn here, whether we were going to push by and get caught by the intermediate time frame, or now what's playing out is we're playing out this pullback to end of trend on the lowest time frame, and then we'll come back down and we'll play out pullback to end of trend on the intermediate time frame there. So that's the sequence that's going on, and this move likely to have a look at 4,600 in the next week. So that's going to be bullish for equities, and we're out of the summer doldrums. Everybody's back at their desks, and so that's good for volume, volatility, all of those things. So equities are looking strong in my mind, although at the moment tip bar chart is showing some weakness here until these bars cross. That might be a good area to look for the next area where the professionals step in and push it back up for the next push higher. So there we go. Equities is going higher. So what's happening with everything else? Why is that happening? And we can see the US dollar is really strengthening. We've also got crude strengthening. I'm going to show you a couple of these charts on. I'm calling these daily charts, but as I've said before, they're not really daily charts. They're 460-minute charts or 480-minute charts, 367-minute charts. There are 3 of these bars in a day session for each of these markets. For the Emini, I use 135 because I'm just looking at the day session. So there's 3 135-minute bars in a day session of the Emini. I'll just show you that chart quickly here, and you can see since the end of last year we've had triple signals into these highs, and yes, we're overbought at this point, but we have no blue professional bars at the highs. We have no exhaustion patterns at the highs. Here are the blue professional bars at the lows last time back in March. Exhaustion signal there, getting the move going. That is buying out of this channel, showing a volume that's buying into that. All of that volume needs to come out at the highs. With blue professional bars, we need almost like a symmetrical pattern on the highs in order to show that those blue professional bars and that exhaustion volume has all been taken out. And we're likely to see that above previous highs is where the stops are triggered and the targets are placed. So let's see, 4,600 is there. The last signal that we had here was a sign of strength on the triple signals here, when we reverted back into an uptrend on the 135-minute chart. So I use the 135-minute chart for the E-mini because there's exactly 3 of those bars in the day session. With the Forex charts, and I'll show you these next, we're using a 460-minute chart because the Forex futures markets are trading 23 hours a day. There are 3 460 minutes in a day session, a 23-hour session of the Forex charts. And this is a classic stair-step trade. So we didn't get a signal up here. Although it was overbought, the background in grey here, we had an exhaustion pattern and we broke through the trailing stop on Beta Pro-Am here, but we didn't have a divergence pattern. What I'd like to see is the divergence. So here's a reversal signal for longs. Exhaustion sell and bullish divergence comes in. That's number 1 on the 3 non-correlated indicators. It's oversold with the background in red. here, and we're also above the trailing stop on Better Pro-Am. So it's three non-correlated indicators. When they all come together, we get a triple signal here. We also get a sign of strength at that point here with the red arrow, because we've also broken back into an uptrend after this weakness here. So that's what a typical triple signal looks like. On this side, we didn't get a triple signal down because we never got the bearish divergence on the other side. We got our exhaustion, not bearish divergence. But here, this week, we had a Thursday into Friday's move. We had a stair-step trade. So we're in a downtrend. The market retraces a little bit, and then the first time that the professionals come in on that retrace is a stair-step trade. They've not taken profits down here at 107 and a bit. There are no blue professional bars on these down bars into those lows. When we come back up and test into 9.5, they come in and they sell it down super hard here. So blue professional bar comes in, sells it down, and with Friday's activity, we've got a lot of follow through there into 107. And it is weak. We haven't seen exhaustion sell down there. We've not seen oversold at that point. That's touching a previous low. So looking at a mini collapse in the euro happening next week. That's going to be a big move in the euro. And whether it comes down to 106 is the next level that the professionals are at. You know, we got a 1.5 of euro, which is a nice move to look to as a potential profit target down here. But if that collapses and that goes, which is possible, then the next level down is at parity. So euro's looking interesting. That's a stair-step trade on these longer time frame charts. So I'll be looking for, on the smaller time frames, for signals short on the tip bar charts. British pound, similar pattern happening here. Now here we got the signal. So we got the signal because we had our exhaustion buy and bearish divergence come in. Bang, so that's number one. We're overbought, the background is in grey, and we break the trailing stop on Better Pro-Am. Here the professionals were taking profits right at those highs at 131. We weakened. The trailing stop was, you know, a fair ways away, but we finally got the break, and there's our signal, and we hardly had any pushback, any test back against that pattern. And then on this chart here, stair step again, the blue professional bars are coming in at the lows there. It's not as pretty as the euro picture where we would have seen blue professional bars here on that move, but there's no exhaustion sell on the downside, and we're coming back to test that area. So that's looking weak as well. So for a bigger move in the British pound, same thing. So the pound is weak, the euro is weak. Aussie dollar, we have some blue professional bars here again on Friday. And this one we had signals the other way, just because that bullish divergence signal was based on that exhaustion sell there at that point. Aussie has been tricky to trade because for months we've been in this rangy activity from, what is that, 65 to 69. The last time we saw, you know, significant activity, blue professional bars at the highs, congestion area breaks through that, and now we're in a stair-step situation here. It's oversold at the moment, but we don't have exhaustion sell down here. It's not as pretty on the Aussie chart, but the Aussie will weaken, I would expect, if the euro and pound continue to weaken as well. Japanese yen, you know, I thought at 70 we had a chance on the Japanese yen of holding, but no, they sold this rally, and it's a U-turn here. Blue professional bars gaming it back up to 73 and then taking profits here and then forcing it down here through 71s. We're down at 68.5 down here. It's oversold. We've got to see another exhaustion sell pattern down here. So the yen is weak. So all of those currencies are weak versus the US dollar. I think what's happening is the money is rolling into equities in the US because that seems to be at the moment the strongest play. Not necessarily 10-year notes or bonds, but the equities market is really interesting. Then the other chart I'm going to show you, well, show you another one on Bitcoin before we get to crude. So Bitcoin, we've been caught in this range for the last 6 months, just batting backwards and forwards. We had a nice little catapult out of 16,000 up to 32, almost a doubling in Bitcoin. But then up here at the highs, blue professional bars come in here, bit of a U-turn. We're weak at the moment here, and that's actually a stair-step trade on Bitcoin at the moment. We got exhaustion, sold, bullish divergence, yep, but we didn't see blue professional bars coming in on this pattern. They gamed it up and then they pushed it down on Thursday, Friday into this move here. So sometimes you can use those blue professional bars as measured moves as like a 50% retracement point. So if we're going from, let's say, 32 odd to 26 odd, what is that, $6,000? You know, could we be looking at 20 on this next move down out of that congestion zone? I don't know. Anyway, it's weak at the moment, so that's not good. But here's the big mover, crude. Been talking about this setting up over the last several months. We had all of these triple signals go on, and here's our exhaustion pattern down here. Blue professional bars coming at the lows at 65, and we have the flash crash day, just testing that little low there. That becomes the low of this whole sequence at 63. Test, test, test. Sign of strength, another triple signal. We've been in an uptrend ever since. And then Thursday, Friday's activity was explosive up into 86. So where's this going? I don't know, but it's not over. It's not over until we see blue professional bars trailing this stop up with an exhaustion pattern. We definitely had a little bit of profit taking, and then the professionals stepped in again and pushed it through that high. And so we've got real activity happening in crude. And lastly, let me just show you the 10-year notes chart. This is not finished on the way down. We've got exhaustion sell at the moment, but we've not got any blue professional bars coming in here. So still worried that rates are going up. The bonds are weakening. We had these big blue professional bars, and we were playing the ranges. We played the highs, and then we tried to hold the lows. No, and they collapsed through those lows. We kept on going down. So we're trying to bottom in terms of 10-year notes, but it's not over on the downside until we see blue professional bars. So there we go. So some longer time frame charts. Let us quickly look at the triple signals on the tip bar charts, and we'll do the Forex charts first. We've had no signals on the euro for weeks and weeks, and then finally this week, bang, we get two little triple signals here at 108 and a bit, and to go short, and we're down at 107.80 at the moment. So there's a good for the euro going down. British pound, same thing. This week we had triple signals going off at the end of the week, beginning of September, and we're weakening from there. And then Aussie dollar, not sure what the Aussie did. So we were signaling short at the beginning of the week, but we kept on playing up. Wasn't a classic signal there. This is interesting, exhaustion buy, bearish divergence. We have blue professional bars at the highs here, but not necessarily on these points here. But anyway, the Aussie dollar is weakening. I think the euro has the cleanest signals at the moment. Japanese yen continued to weaken. Could not make these signals work along this week. Comes into this level here and it just collapses at that point. Not sure what drove that down. Probably some fundamental news, but the Japanese yen is weak at the moment. So Emini, yes, we had nice signals at the end of last week, long into this nice rally. We've got a little bit of a short signal going on at the moment, but I'm pretty bullish on the Emini. I'd wait till we get a reversal signal going the other way on the 13,500 tip bar chart, or blue professional bars coming in as we sell off a little bit there potentially. That's a signal happening at the moment. And then 10 years continues to weaken here, so triple signals short this week. Exhaustion buy, bearish divergence, we come back up again, bearish divergence comes in, and we keep on cracking through those blue professional bars, bang, into a downtrend there. That was nice signals last week, so that was good. So that's the 10-year. Now, gold and silver, we had all of these signals, and we had the continuation of the rally this week in gold, which was good, up to 1980. It's kind of weak at the moment, but no triple signals happened yet. Silver, we kept on pushing through silver this week, but had a little bit of profit taking here. Blue professional bars and exhaustion buy, 25.5. We weakened from there, but that was the signal a couple of weeks ago that we finally bottomed there, turned around, and we had a very strong week last week in silver. Bitcoin on the tip bar charts, there we go. So last week signaled the rally into those highs, and look at all those blue professional bars into 28 taking profits, and we signal short at the moment. So it's trying to signal long at the moment here. We haven't had a bullish divergence signal, and that's why that triple signal hasn't gone off in Bitcoin. But let's see where Bitcoin goes. Crude, so here's the crude pattern. So last week we had our triple signals in crude, rode this thing higher. Blue professional bars come in on that dip here, which is nice, and then we rally on. Now, this is where I took profits at 83 and a bit. That was a nice trade, but I'm looking at 86 now, and I'm like, why didn't I hold? The blue professional bars came in again to buy through that high, and that was a continuation of this pattern. I think some news came out of Saudi this week that pushed us through that 83 level. All the professionals stepped in, we gamed it back up, and we got it all the way back up to 86. So I'm looking a little bit foolish this week because I took profits just on this little bump on the way higher. On the 1100 tip bar chart, which is the chart I was trading, looked like a good spot to take profits. I think there was an exhaustion pattern and blue professional bars come in, which is my normal signal to exit. But in retrospect, I should have held. a good couple of trades on the E-mini, short and then long on the E-mini. So I'm quite happy with this week's trade, but yeah, it's at 86 now. So crude, natural gas failed to get going through this level. We had signals long at the beginning of the week, but it's not gone through 285. I think all the activity has been in crude this week. And then copper profit taking up here at 390. Signals 2 weeks ago, long into that pattern there. So some professional profit taking up there, definitely at 390. But again, of all of those commodities, the activity has been in crude. Corn weakened, signal this week. It's looking weak at the moment. So let's see if corn continues down. And soybeans, again, nice signal there. We're weakening. Here's a stair-step trade. No blue professional bars down here at the lows. We come back up. The professionals come in. That's last roll of the dice as well, with the exhaustion buy at that point. So that's a lot of activity coming out of that retrace. Blue professional bars can step in, and we're heading down on soybeans because of that. And then lastly, wheat, trying to hold down here, but not a whole bunch of blue professional bars on these lows. One come back in here. No, not really happening for wheat yet. So there we go. I think a couple of weeks ago I was saying that Forex was uninteresting at the moment. Now all of a sudden Forex is the most interesting thing that's happening at the moment, along with the crude and equities. So there we go. This week's going to be interesting because we've got Labor Day on Monday, so the markets in the US are shut. But traditionally the Forex markets follow the London time zone more than anything. So we could get that continuation of the downtrends in the euro and British pound on Monday, with nothing much happening in the other markets, and then the other markets having their big moves come Tuesday, Wednesday. And any weakness that we have in the E-mini, let's see if it gets caught with the professionals coming in, because now that 8600 level is in play. Whether we make a go at it this week or next week will be interesting to see. So there we go. Hope your trading is going well, and looking forward to next week's trade.